That's
Welcome
your
back.
part.
Welcome back to another episode in the Mindful LCA podcast. Tell us what we're going to be talking about today, Norma.
Yes, today we're going to be talking about alcohol consumption within our Latina community, where it is a topic that is close to home for us. Both Steve and I have had experience with that, but we're going to be talking about it because from Sunday barbecues to quinceañeras, alcohol is something that is often present in our celebrations. And, but what happens when drinking becomes a little bit more than una copita and it becomes essentially like a coping mechanism that we don't really talk about. So we'll unpack a little bit of statistic about it, cultural norms, how it impacts your mental health, because this is a podcast about mental health and a lot of other things. And yeah, and hopefully at the end we can give you some resources. So if you are struggling with it, then we can help you out. How are you?
Doing, I was going to say good, we can't say good. Just,
Right.
I'm relaxed, I'm chilling. I'm also like a little bit of physically tired. We had family over and just been going to sleep extra late, just hanging out and stuff. So I need to catch up, but I still, same thing as you were saying off the podcast, like I need to get back on track and start taking care of myself more and stuff, which I will. Now that the girls are gonna start school soon too, the summer break is almost over, then everybody gets on schedule and it makes things so much easier for us.
Hmm.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. And for those of you that are gonna watch this with video, will be able to see it. Like my eyes are so glossy, because I've been having a full weekend, very little sleep. I'm not taking care of myself that way. So I am really tired. My body's crashing.
Mm-hmm.
But aquí
¿Qué no?
estamos.
No tienes 18.
I know. I know. I'm having a hard time accepting that.
Yep. All right. Let's get it.
All right. So let's start off with some facts. According to the CDC, substance abuse and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, um, alcohol is very, very common within our community, but it does impact different people within our community differently. So, more than 50%, I'm sure a lot of us are not going to be surprised with these stats, but more than 50% of Latini adults report current alcohol use.
How much?
More than 50%.
More than 50
Uh-huh.
report alcohol abuse. Like more than
Alcohol
50% in
use,
Latinos?
just use,
Oh,
just
that's
using
full of shit.
alcohol.
That's full of shit.
Well, that's what it says. More than 50%.
Well,
More than
yeah, it's
half of
true.
us drink. I'm guilty of this myself. So I don't think I necessarily abuse it anymore, but I definitely still use it.
Yeah,
You
I'm
would
trying
think.
to think, and I think it's way higher than that. Well,
Yeah, probably.
maybe
Like any
maybe
stat.
the the people around me are above average, maybe, but yeah, there's a lot. But throughout my experience, I'll be like, yeah, like mostly everyone that I know just drinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. It is way higher than that.
Hmm.
Um Again, but that's just alcohol use, not necessarily abuse. The there is sorry, there's like people here in my house and there's like screaming happening. Um Binge drinking does affect Latina men more than women. However,
Hmm.
there is a rise in consumption within young Latinas, like
Mm.
girls. We're drinking more lately, but overall, binge drinking is more related to men.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
can see,
Anecdotally, yeah, it's true. It's There's definitely, from my experience in my life, is a little. It's more men usually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like the fact that even though because there's Latinos that live in their home countries and Latinos and specifically like we are maybe focusing more on people here within the United States. So people within the United States, born in the United States that have Latino descent, drink more heavily than those that are immigrants. Um, we could get into speculations as to why that is, but if you're born here, you're more likely to drink than if you weren't born here in the United States.
As immigrants, like
Say that again.
from the people, like I mean, the study says like people that migrated. So the statistics are saying people that live in the U.S. that are immigrants versus the ones that are born here.
Yes.
Okay, I
So
was
people
just
that
like,
are born here drink more than people who migrated here.
okay, but it's just a study of in the U.S. I'm assuming because what I'm asking is
Yes.
that comparing country by country, or is it
No, no,
just a study of
it's in
here?
the United States.
Okay, got it.
Mm.
I was about to say because yeah, in Mexico seems like it drink like a motherfucker too.
Yes, and I think there is a little bit of influence. Again, this is just me coming from personal experience, and what I've seen. Like for example, like my grandma did drink. Both of my grandmas drank.
Mm,
Both of my grandpas really drank. Both of them were alcoholics. Um, but with my grand grandmothers it wasn't as like prevalent, right? And I think
mm,
maybe it has to do a lot of with like gender roles, how they're different in Mexico and here. I think because of like I think there is more, I don't know if freedom would be the right word, but in terms of um like the culture here is more like, well, we are equal, we're both people that work, we're both caretakers, we're both like
mm,
the same. So
mm.
it's more socially accepted to for women to like drink here. And I think in Mexico maybe like there is still this expectation of like women need to be more traditional women within the home, and they're not drinking as much. This is my assumption as to like why maybe here in the United States, they're more likely to drink.
That makes
And
sense.
also maybe people that are immigrants are working their asses off. Not saying that people that are born here aren't. Um, to maybe they don't even have that much time to drink. I don't know, but you were gonna say
Yeah, no, said it makes sense. And no, I think the statistics that's happening with all this immigration stuff is like there a lot less crimes within immigrants because of the fear, right? Because you know you can't afford to fuck up, so
hmm
you actually behave a lot better with
hmm
the danger and the threat that you can be taken and anything, you know. So that also
yeah,
probably plays off to know that a DUI, for example, you're fucking gone pretty much, you know. It could end your life here, so you're more careful not to be
yeah,
drinking.
yeah. That
Yeah.
is very true. That is very true. I think the risks are different. The implications, consequences are different for both demographics. So that could definitely be an influence for sure. Um, yeah, so because of all of that liver alcohol related diseases that affect the liver are like on the rise within our community, uh,
Mm.
because my people be drinking too much. But even with all of these things, even though we know that it affects our health, it's something that we are still doing that we don't necessarily address. So I think it's important that we look at like, okay, what is happening? Um, like why are we like doing this? One of the things is like it's really really fucking um, what's the word?
Engraved.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me words. It's really engraved within our culture. I think, like if I look at movies that my grandparents would watch, right, like Pedro Infante, Cantinflas, um, Vicente Fernandez. If you look at all of those movies, alcohol is part of, I'm not going to say percentages, but like most of them. So it has been really, really ingrained within her culture. And I mean, I remember it's a thing within our, at least with Mexican people. I don't know if other Latina communities, but um, like you have el niño de 3 años, right, and be like, ah, dale la cerveza, and it's like le das el traguito de la cerveza, and everybody thinks it's like so cute. I don't know
Yeah,
if that happened to you, but that certainly happened to me.
yeah, all the time.
Where they would give me uh, a cerveza, and and even now, like I've el primo del amigo del del amigo, because we can't say
Hmm.
names anymore.
Can put people on
Um,
blast.
we cannot put people on blast. We're trying to be better about that. Um, but like recently, I saw somebody that like this person was like they're in their pre-teens, and like I saw them with an alcoholic drink, and I was like, does your mom know that you're doing this? And they're like, yeah, they're the ones that like give it to me. And I'm like, cool, 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 all right, all right, you're like 12 and you're drinking, all right. And within the time that I was with them, they had like 3 drinks, like a back to back. I hadn't even
Mm,
finished one drink, and they had like 3. And this is a 12-year-old human. So I was like, damn, that was concerning. But I can't necessarily say anything with because it's none of my motherfucking business. But it's something that is very, very ingrained. And if you look at it, we we see it across the board with any event,
mhm.
right? Una carnita asada, tráete las chelas. A wedding, tráiganse el tequila. Um, a funeral, el piquetito para la canelita. Like a for everything, we use or we insert alcohol for that.
Yeah, I mean it's just part of the culture to bring a 24 pack, a 12 pack, a bottle as a gift. Like it's just that's what you
I do
do.
that. I do that. I'm
Yeah, just
guilty of that.
just show up and do that. But like to go more on what you said, like yeah, it's from the very beginning. Um, from the very like it's just part of who we are. Sadly, it's
Yeah.
just like part of this the natural thing. Like you get to that age that you can drink, and then you just drink, and like you said, every weekend or a friend of a friend of a friend just becomes like two people get together and that's just an excuse to drink.
Hmm.
Like that's just fucking weird to me that now because I'm like, bruh, like I paid attention to that behavior. I was like, this people just literally two people get together and it's already just drink and then like just drink and just drink for the hell of it. Like just all the time. Like you just that's
Yeah.
enough. But it's literally everywhere we see. It's very normal to grow up in it and very normal to take part of it. I started I started drinking when I was like 16, I want to say. And yes, in the background. Uh so you're gonna distract me, Mia. Hold on, don't say anything. uh and it was socially like acceptable, like it was just a thing that my friends did. And you're right, like our the parents of those friends like enabled it and were okay with it, and it was almost like expected at that time for us to start dabbling in it or start getting into it, you know. And then after that it was just like acceptable for us to be at any family gathering at 16, 17 years old, and like they knew we drank and we just drank and did all that stuff, you know.
Hmm.
But it's almost like sadly it like goes together. Like like if you're fucking Mexican, it just goes together. Like it's
Yeah.
just a thing that you do where you're just drinking all the time, 24/7. That's been the
Mhm.
experience for most of my life around anybody, any social gathering, any like family or friends or stuff like that is just a thing that it's that.
Yeah.
Um yeah. I mean, and I can continue to tell a little bit more about my story with that stuff. I stopped because I drank for like 3 years heavily, like super super heavily. And then I got with my wife now, and her parents were like coming up in like a super 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 religious like journey. So then it
Mm.
would just like on top of that they were super strict with her, so we couldn't really go out. So then that just kind of like cold turkey, like almost, I want to say in a way, saved me from me continuing to do that. You know, like I just got with her, she couldn't go out, so we didn't go out. Like we just hung out at her house literally all the time, and that completely changed my social life. So a lot of
Mm.
times I wonder how it would have been different at that time if I would have kept going and all that.
Yeah.
Um, and I also ask myself, because I don't. It's been what, fucking 16 years that like maybe I have one beer like a year, if anything. So it's been a long time. um so I ask myself, why am I different? I ask
Mm.
myself, how did I end up being different? I clearly remember one of the most um crazy things that adds to how common it is for people to drink around my family and community and stuff like that. One of my aunts died at some point, and all the family gets together, somebody dies, that's like the only time. So then it was literally all of the cousins that were, I don't know, I think the range of cousins, probably the youngest one would be like, right now I'm 35, so the youngest one would be around like 25, 27. Up in the other ranges like 45, so like a 20 year gap of all the cousins. And we were all there,
Mhm.
and all of them were drinking, and I was like, oh, you want a beer? Like, nah. Oh, like, you want a beer? Nah. Like, you didn't drink or what? No. And like I told them multiple times to different people, like, I just don't drink, and they were like shocked, and they're like, the fuck? Like, you mean at all? Like, you don't drink at all? And I was like, no. It's like, seriously? Like, nothing, like, you don't drink a thing. Like, it was just shocking to
Yeah.
them to hear that there was somebody that, like, in their family that just didn't drink at all. And like, what the fuck? So um yeah, I think. And the other part of it, other than the thing with my wife, was that my dad, and I asked him this recently, um because I told him I was thankful for him never being a drinker himself, because my dad was never a drinker, like, not at all. Like, he doesn't drink at all at the same time. And I
Mm.
asked him, and he said, I was like, well, why the fuck were you different? Because around his family is very prevalent as well. So I was like, why were you different? And he was like, oh, like, I used to have to take care of your grandpa, and because he had a bar. Your grandpa had a bar, so I ran the bar when I was like 12 years old, and I just saw drunk men, and like, giving me money to give them beer, and I didn't give them a beer, and they didn't give a fuck, and then they fell over and shit themselves and pissed themselves and threw up on the floor. And like, we just put hay on top of the shit to cover whatever the fuck was there under the thing. So he had like a really um impactful experience, like, at a young age, taking care of that bar. That then he said, like, I don't want this, because he saw all the bad shit, like,
Mhm.
firsthand, of what it led to and all that. And just
Mm.
somehow, some way, it never, for the rest of his life, it never caught his attention. So in that way, I'm very thankful that I didn't have the example of that. Like, it wasn't normal in my household with my brothers and my parents to, that was like a normal thing to just drink and do all that. Like, that
Mm.
really, I think, it shaped a lot, and it made a world of a difference, together with then um like the other part with Celia. So that's why I'm like the odd one
The
out.
odd one out.
Yeah. And I
Don't
think,
give me a soda.
yeah, 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 one doesn't think. And like, people don't even, at first people would peer pressure me, or try to peer
Yeah.
pressure me, be like, oh, come on, just this and that. And now, like, they know, so they don't even bother. It's like, oh, te traigo una soda, mijo. Like, yeah, fucking whatever, go ahead. It's not a thing anymore, because that's that. But yeah, that's kind of like where it is, but it's definitely been common all the time. And um yeah, it kind of sucks. um because I don't know, maybe you can keep going now. Stop now so you can keep going with the outline. You're gonna bring up all the other points already that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna jump into, but I'll wait for you to bring them up.
That's okay. That's okay. I think like yeah, I think I'm glad that you were that one odd one out. I wasn't um not, and it's something that is super super within both sides of my family. Like that shit's ingrained in us. My dad drinks. As a matter of fact, as we're doing this episode, he has people over, and guess what they're doing? They're drinking. It almost becomes like this contest, carreritas, to see who can drink a stronger drink without getting like fucked up, to see like who has like the bigger dick type of thing. It's kind of weird, but that's the type of shit that
Mhm.
he engages in. Um, and, and I guess with that, it segues good into like the other part of the cultural part of machismo, right? Of within, I think it goes broader than just the Latino community, but within the Latino community, machismo is so so prevalent that like men are supposed to be tough. Um, we never talk about our problems. Emotions are not a thing. They are the provider. They are the protector. Um, so how do you deal with that, right? Like when nobody taught you how to deal with your emotions, but you're still gonna have them anyway. So like, how do I deal with the pressure of like maybe I lost my job, maybe my wife or partner is not there emotionally for me. So, like, what do I do with my emotions? Let's go drink. Because that is, once you drink, it's like, ooh, inhibitions go out the door and we are chilling, we are vibing. So then it's like, that just like takes a little bit of the edge off. Um, so, so I think that also has a lot to do with it of like why so many it affects more men than women because they have this pressure on them that machismo has like really drilled into their little head.
Yeah, the thing of having to be tough and to do the, like you said, hold it down. um like we always talk about the emotional intelligence part, and like how I think when you unlock it, like, and you give yourself the grace and the understanding and forgiveness and all that shit, and understand how your emotions work and all that stuff, like you're able to see it in other people now and shit like that. So like now it's just like I see trauma. You get me?
Yeah.
Like you see the heavy drinking, and I'm like, there's something there. Like there's
Mhm.
there's something there for sure. Like I
So much
wonder
for
what it is. And it's just, once I started paying attention to this, because the being seen as weird like made me really go inward and pay attention and like analyze like what the fuck was going on and all that. um and it's just that now it's just like, damn, it's such a clear signal of how much trauma there is in our community.
hmm
Like it's the clearest signal it's straight up in your face and you're looking at it, and right there it's like how much pain there is, how much suffering there is, and how much of that is because I mean, again, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with everybody. It starts like, yeah, you get there, you start drinking this and that, and then like some people leave at the party, and some people start leaving, and some people start leaving, and at the end of the day, it ends up in putazos or ends up crying. Like that's what
yeah.
it ends up in. Like you just
hmm
end up fighting or you end up crying. Like at the
hmm
very end of the party, when all the fucking people that are like so so like super alcoholics that they can drink for hours and hours and still be standing and still be fine, and yes, they're drunk and shit like that, and it just ends up in the tears coming out. It ends up in the anger coming out, the frustration, and all those things are finally coming out after like hours of drinking and all that, you know.
And that
So
that is socially acceptable because like, oh, he's just drunk.
yeah.
Right? So then it's all of the pent up emotion in there, but
Hmm.
because it's coming out when they're drunk is like, oh, it's because he's drunk. Not because he's carrying all this shit from his
Mm.
day-to-day life, but it's like because he's drunk. So ya sabes cómo es. That's how
Yeah.
it is. So we don't question it. We just kind of like it's accepted, right?
Hmm.
Like it's something that we don't really like talk about. Gosh, I really
Yeah.
I want to talk about it. But there's no way I can talk about it without outing people. Um, yes, I'm not even gonna open that kind of worms. Anyway, um,
Yeah. I have a, and then like I was talking to one of my cousins, because he went through some stuff, some emotional stuff, and then I was reaching out to him, and he was like, "Oh, whenever I feel better, I'll reach out to you. Whenever I do it, like I just need some time alone." And I'm like, "No, fuck you. You don't need some time alone. Like you need to deal with it now. If I'm like you've dealt with this over and over and over, and you get the same fucking outcome. Like give me an opportunity to jump in here and fucking give you a different perspective and see how that goes, how that can help you, and I can go that." And then it was all like teaching them or telling them like, bro, like it's okay first of all for you to share your pain with somebody as you're going through it, and then after that it's like
mhm,
then I went into like it's the coping mechanism, like you didn't know what to do with your emotions, and all you knew was to drink, and then you just freaking drink, and that's how you do it, like that's how you cope, that's how you deal with it. um that's how you're able to live. And if you
mm,
maybe didn't have alcohol, like it's hard because like there's so much empathy still part of yet, because I told him, I was like, if alcohol didn't exist, who knows if you still be able to be here or not. Like to some
yeah,
degree you have to be thankful that it's still here, because as much as damaging as it is to your body, your liver and everything, it allows you to still be here, because who knows how you would have dealt with your pain, with your suffering,
yeah,
with your trauma, if you didn't have it. um and it's just it's that, it's like being overwhelmed and not knowing what to do, and then you fucking, from the moment you're born, you look around and that's all you see, so it's like, oh, this is what happens, so like I'm
this
gonna
is
do
true.
this.
Yeah,
Like I'm going
yeah,
to just follow the
follow suit.
steps of the people before, and what is normal to me, and go from there.
Yeah,
But it's definitely to deal with the suffering that you have. So
yeah.
just
And there's like the double standard too, right? Because it's like it's so intertwined, as we said already, within our community. But then when it becomes too much, then that comes with like, especially if you grow up in a religious household, that like, oh my god, like that el tío, la tía, el primo, like they drink too much. So it's like they start becoming like the outcasts, right? Of like, oh, within my family, won't say names, but just uh, be like, pues ya sabes cómo se pone el cabrón de cuando se pone pedo. And it's just like, you're shaming this person for drinking when you yourself drink, but you just don't get to that point where like they're maybe like they're the ones that are shitting themselves, pissing themselves, throwing up like out in the motherfucking street. Um, but we shame them for it, even though as a family we all encourage everybody to drink. But when they drink to that point, it's like, oh my god, what is wrong with them? It's like, motherfucker, we we told them it was okay to drink, and now we are shaming them for it, and that happens a lot within
mhm.
my family. So not only do they teach us to drink, but then when we drink too much, then they're like, "Ah, you're a failure. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
So yeah, those are
Mhm.
some cultural aspects of why we drink in the Latino community. But it has
Yeah.
so many adverse effects, y'all. So many. One of them, one of them. Just physically speaking, it affects your liver.
Mhm.
This I will say, I don't feel bad. It because it is. I don't know if a fact, but my dad comes with from a family of 15 siblings, so it's a big family. One of them already passed away. Guess what? Guess what he passed away from? I'll give you a hint. Alcohol related.
Mm-hmm.
So he died from liver disease, cirrhosis, I believe it was. Um, so I'm like, all right, Pools. All right, there's 14 of you left. One of them was already taken out with this shit. And he literally told them on like his deathbed, like, y'all need to stop with the shit. Y'all need to stop fucking drinking because this shit will kill you, as you can like see. Ask me how many of them stopped drinking. Quite the
Yeah.
opposite. They drink a lot more now. So
Yeah.
at a physical level, obviously it affects you, your liver. Mental health, I get it, because it's a way to cope. It numbs the pain, so you don't address it. So it just kind of festers there. But then other things such as anxiety, depression, loneliness, if you are that person, that outcast, it's going to, that's just how it's going to show up. Um, when we are still not addressing the underlying reason as to why we're drinking, it has like a different effect. My Somebody within my family, when when they're they're by themselves, like they've had, I believe they've had anxiety attacks. I don't know, because they don't, obviously they don't come to me,
Mhm.
because you know I'm gonna mirror and reflect what's going on, and they're like, no, I want that. So but they've reached out to other people and be like, oh, and they just say like, siento desesperación, siento mucha desesperación. um but in reality it's like, I think you're having an anxiety attack. um and how do they deal with it? They sleep a lot and they drink a lot. That's
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I just keep thinking of so many stories,
I
and
know.
some things that come up. I had one somebody that I know. Um,
I had somebody
he
that
would he would drink 24/7, 365 from the moment he got up to the moment he went to sleep. He would literally fall asleep with the tall can next, and I remember seeing him sleeping in the couch with the tall can right next to the couch, and literally wake up and just start drinking from the same tall can overnight, like the same thing. I seen him in withdrawals when he would try to stop and he would hallucinate, like he would talk to nothing. He would talk out the window like there was somebody there, and he was struggling so much, and the IVs and the sueros and all the things that they had to give him to try to help him and all that stuff to get him hydrated when he was trying to like get sober and all that stuff. And I seen this multiple times, um and yes, just like in your family, I've had on on my mom's side of the family, I think I want to say all of my uncles have died because of that. Like
damn.
all of them, three or four of them, that have died because alcoholism. And now they were, I want to say they were 50, 55 at most over the last like 15, 20 years. Like all the men have pretty much died because of that stuff. So it's, like I said, it's really prevalent in my family and stuff. And I want to bring up another thing that I thought about. That is not. I also challenged myself when I was about to say it earlier. Um, I had a conversation with somebody else about um a relative of theirs that was a heavy, heavy drinker, heavy, super heavy, super heavy, super heavy. And one day, cold turkey, he said, "Fuck it, I'm stopping," and he did. And to this day, he's been sober already for like years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my dad, I was like, it's crazy how the family still sees him as like the dumbass or the idiot, the one that caused all the trouble and the pain. but nobody, to me, he should be admired. He should be like, damn, how did you do this? How did you overcome this? He should be like praised for the growth that he had to be able to go through his trauma, his pain, his all that, and then just been able to figure it out and able to say, I'm stopping and I'm going, and then just continue to do it from there, you know? And
Hmm.
I also like, and the same thing that I thought about with the person you were talking about with the drinking is like, well, we failed. I told my dad the community, the family failed him because of not having the awareness, you know, the emotional intelligence to be able to say this person's in pain. Instead of helping, it just was a shit ton of judgment, which added to his burden already that was there. You know, to some degree, I'm like, we failed to recognize and do something that might help that person, that might help them in a positive way, you know. And I know this skills, and on a side note, a lot of the times I question how early me and you and other people with like a good emotional intelligence are in this shit, because it's like an outcast, right? Even within this part, to be able to say, oh, I can see the pain, I can see the suffering, and it's just normal to the mainstream society or to what it seems to the community or the family altogether. It's just like tough to see that, you know.
Hmm.
Because like I was telling you before, like now I see sadness and I'm like, okay, there's something there. How can I show up for this person
Yeah.
now in a different way than before, even if they want it or not, but how show for them in a loving way? Oh, I see a lot of anger. How can I show up for them? Oh, I see drinking. Like, how can I show up for them? You know, it's just like I see it now, just like as anger or sadness or depression or something. Like I'm just able to look at it and be like, damn, like what can I do for this person? So a lot of the times is that to to have the empathy to understand that, like, as bad as it is, this is keeping them alive, like I said a little bit ago.
Yeah.
This is keeping them alive, and who knows what it would be like if they didn't found this solution to their overwhelming life and overwhelming experiences.
Yeah.
Because the shit that I question all the time when I see those situations is like, what got you here? Like, what led to this? I sit there and like I literally before would wonder, like, was there like, is there sexual abuse? Is there like emotional abuse? Is there, what kind of trauma and life have you been through that is leading you to this, you know? So it's not a, it's I guess it's just to like, to remember, for us to remember, and the listeners to not have that judgment, you know, to not have that judgment, and go deeper again into like, oh, like you said, this motherfucker just drinks too much and like is get annoying and does this or does that. It's like, okay, how do
Like,
we
why?
go past that? How do we go past that shit and figure out like, okay, why? How do we dig deeper to have
Yeah.
some kind of empathy to understand that, you know,
Hmm.
to not do that. But
Yeah.
yes.
I think that is the hard work. I think it's also easier to shame, right?
Mhm.
And just leave it at that, because then I don't necessarily have to do anything with it. I don't have to carry it, right? Because when um empathy can be like a double-edged sword, right? Because
Mhm.
it's a very good thing that we empathize with people, but then that puts us at the in a position where, like, okay, now because I empathize with you, um then I don't know if it happens for you, but it happens for me, of like, now I feel responsible for,
Mhm.
like, if I know that there is pain, like I think a little bit of what you're talking about, like, how do I show up, right?
Yeah.
And so for you and I that maybe have more of that emotional intelligence, could be easier, right? To say, like, all right, how do I show up? Um, but for people that don't have that emotional intelligence, like, they don't have the resources, they can't show up. So then they're like, nah, fam, like, I'm not gonna deal with that, because they don't, whether they don't know how, or they don't feel comfortable with their own emotions. So there's a whole lot of other things that we can unpack there, but um yes, yes,
Mm,
that
yeah.
um yeah, just the when we don't show empathy, like that cycle, we get stuck in that cycle of there's pain and we drink and then we shame them, and we don't really like talk about like why they drink. So then there's more pain. So then the more pain, the more they drink, and
Mhm.
it just on and on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because it's easier to deal with a cruda than with trauma.
Yeah. Just drink at the thing. I saw a video recently that said like, oh, you want to just figure out, or you want to change things, just ask yourself why. Like I just saw a little short clip that said like, just ask yourself why. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say after that part of it, but yeah, I completely lost the thought.
That's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, continue. It'll come back to me.
It'll come back. It'll come back. Um, and people that do choose to get out of it, I think it's also important to address it. There's also a lot of shame around that, about
Yeah.
like how dare you almost like get out of the cycle, break out of the cycle. Like I remember my my mom's little brother, or younger brother. He would drink heavily, and
Mhm.
then one day too, cold turkey said, I ain't drinking no more. I don't know how long he's been sober. I think it's been like over 15 years since he's been sober, probably more. Um, and he he converted to another religion. He went into Christianity. Um, as much as I don't like religion, I will say that a lot of what I owe to him being sober, or not me necessarily, but like what I'm grateful for, um, what helped him with that was Christianity. So I'm super grateful that he was able to find that to help him be sober. Anyway,
Mhm.
so then he stopped drinking, and then he would come around to the family parties and he wasn't drinking. So then a lot of people that were within those parties, they would be like, chingate una cerveza, chingate un tequila. And you'd be like, oh, I don't drink anymore. I stopped drinking. Um, pinche culo, like how are you like not drinking and you're like a pussy for not drinking? Um,
Mhm.
so he stopped coming around. He stopped coming around. He
Yeah.
like really distanced himself from those people, because and then later the people were like, how come he doesn't come around anymore? Like, why doesn't he want to be around us? Be like, because you shamed him because he stopped drinking. Like, why the fuck would he want to be around that?
Mhm.
Um, the my older brother, he drank for years since he was 16, 17. And he did have to go into like a facility and rehab, but he's been sober now for coming up on 5 years. I'm super proud of my older brother for that. But the same thing, right? Like when he started coming around, I think with him, it like more people knew, but it was almost like, oh, how do I even like relate to you now? Like how do we have a relationship if you're not like drinking with me? Um, so that is also like the other end of the stick, like people that do decide to stop drinking, like the shame that we also impose on them for how dare they
Yeah.
go against the cultural norms. Even for me,
Yeah.
I've had periods of time where I've like stopped drinking, and same thing, it's like, do I have beer? I'm like, no, I'm not drinking right now. Like, why? Like, I one of the times, like, I was still married when I stopped drinking, and they'd be like, "¿Qué te pega la Bram?" I'm like, no, I just don't want to drink. I just don't want to drink. Like,
I'm so fucking. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I hear something like that, and I'm already done. Like I completely judge you as an entire fucking human, and I literally
empathy,
imagine myself
empathy.
just like imagine that they tell you that, and I'm with you, and I just imagine myself like literally just like like there's no there like I cannot continue to fucking even have a conversation with you when that shit is like coming out of your mouth. I'd be like, oh brother. Yeah.
Yes.
Um
Yeah. So
that
damn
that
if you do, damn if you don't
yeah,
with
because
alcohol.
this that's what I was gonna say. It's so hard to go against the mainstream shit. It's extremely hard.
Yeah.
So like whenever you see somebody wearing some random shit that they don't give a fuck about they're wearing, like, oh my god, I'm so fucking happy for you that you have the balls and the courage to just be like, I'm gonna be myself. The courage to go against that, because that happened with that cousin that I'm telling you. He's like, at some point, like he's like, I can't socialize. I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do now? There's gonna be drinking. There's gonna be this. So like, what the fuck do I do? You know? And eventually, like I want to say he's doing a lot better. He hasn't like stopped. Like he stopped for a while, but like now he's drinking here and there. Um, but now I think he's more aware of it, so he doesn't get to that fucking level. But it's so hard for him to socialize in that way, and just to go against, like I said, in any situation is that. And again, with the question of like, ask myself why, I had like a shocking conversation with a friend from Iran. I have a friend from Iran that I play video games with, and somehow like the conversation of like alcohol just came up. He was like, "No, I don't drink." Like it was illegal to drink in my home country, so like nobody drinks. Like if anything, there was wine at a wedding, but like very little and shit like that. So like it's not, and I'm just like, what? Like you don't drink because it's not like part of your culture, and you don't even know what the fuck it. I was like, and then I went into this conversation of like, bro, everyone is fucking goddamn
Let me put you
alcoholics in
on
my
game.
like, yeah. So it was just so bizarre to hear, for somehow this information had never crossed my mind, or I never thought about it, that there's an entire other part of the world and the culture where this is completely like to the point that it's illegal, like
Yeah.
literally to the point that it's illegal, you know. So it was just shocking. Like imagine, like I'm just thinking like what the fuck would life would be like of my family and friends and community and society
Yeah.
as a whole if it wasn't so prevalent and it wasn't so part of our DNA to just fucking literally be drinking and drinking and drinking. Like that is so crazy to even think about, how there's a different part of the world, and there's people that doesn't even this doesn't even cross their mind. It's never been impactful by them, you know. Because I think
Yeah.
you said it affects your liver, but I think that's underplaying it. Like I remember when I was back in the day when I was getting in my podcast of like 3 fucking hour long, 4 hour long podcast, like I just listened to one in alcohol, and the conclusion was like, you're drinking poison.
Yeah.
Like you're actively choosing to drink poison. Like
Yeah.
they literally, because they went into the argument of like, oh yeah, if you 1 glass a day of wine or this many beer or this much shit, and the fool was got into the science of it, is like, nah. Like we see we see changes in the body and things happening from like one fucking beer a day, from one shot, from one thing. Like a single one of them will affect the shit, you know. Like
Yeah.
that's the it affects you in so many different ways, and it's just so bad for you, you know. But
Yeah.
it's sad and it's crazy. And I guess just for people listening, think about that shit, that there's how much is it that, just like any kind of social norm, right? Like we just agree to, this is who you are, and this
Yeah.
is who we are, and this is that, but it's just all fucking another made up shit, another part of society that like doesn't make any fucking sense. Like you don't have to be part of it, you just do that. And yes, like anything else, like every other fucking thing, when you're showing emotion, when you're going against the grain, and everything is so fucking hard, but there's people, I promise you, there's people, find those fucking people that won't judge you, will understand, are part of the counterculture in some way or another, that will completely be there for you and support you and do that stuff. Yes, it's not that easy, because people don't get it, but
Mm.
it's it's that. um yeah, I have another person in my life that I'm thinking about now, is just a completely different person when they're drinking and drunk, and I'm like, that's actually you. Like you see
Mm.
happiness, you see
Yeah.
this, like that that person's I just I had a conversation with somebody that I was like, that did you notice how the word count goes up like exponentially the more the drinking it is? Like this person doesn't say shit, but the more that they drink, the more talkative they are. Like the more expression they have, the more fun, more outgoing, this and that. And I was telling somebody, it's like, yeah, that's them. Like that's actually them. That's them without the worries that
Yeah.
the judgment or whatever fear or whatever thing, like that's actually that, and it does that for that person, and that's why they like it, and it feels good to not give a fuck about anything for a little bit and just be themselves regardless of what people think. And that to me is like, I look at it and I'm happy that they're happy, but I'm like, why don't you just do this on the regular basis? Like this is you.
How about
Like
this every day?
yeah, like why do you have to pretend or hide that shit, you know?
Yeah.
um but yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to, or be afraid and do it with fear anyway.
Hmm.
But it is possible, um, for for you to go to join the dark side, right? As a
Hmm.
person who, like, I used to like drink heavily, um, like recently, within maybe since my birthday in May, I have been drinking a lot more. But I'm thinking after this, I'm like, okay, next year I'm gonna go again on a year of like I'm not gonna drink next year. Um, it's possible to do it. There are resources, um, that um, that you can use to help you. Like if what we're talking about resonates with you, if you're starting to question like, oh shit, am I drinking too much too? Am I dealing with my emotions through drinking?
Hmm.
There is help and hope out there.
Hmm.
Um, there's, I'm sure we all know. You were gonna say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna share what I think works pretty well in the Buddhist teachings and the Buddhist thing that I'm learning, which all it is become aware. All you have to do is become aware.
Mm,
They teach you to not just go mindlessly in any fucking shit that you do with your life. Become aware of your drinking. That's it. Become aware of the decision that you're drinking.
mm-hmm.
Become aware of that. That's all you have to do. Because once you become aware of it, you are going to then be able to put a pause on it eventually to question whether you want to do this or not. You're going to become aware of the decision every single time that you do that. And that doesn't only go for alcohol, it goes for any addiction, for any behavior, anything you want to change. All you have to do is become aware of it. And then they tell you, once you become aware of it, how it affects you, how it affects your body, then how it affects the people around you. And that's all
Mm-hmm.
you do. But it starts with making a conscious decision that you're going to do this. You're
Yeah.
going to do this. And eventually, by becoming aware, like your mind and you won't let yourself hurt yourself. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you won't let yourself do that just by becoming aware. And I thought it was like when I read that, I was like, oh shit, that's really powerful. And it tells you, like, don't judge yourself, don't be hard on yourself, just work on that awareness. That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you continue the behavior, like eventually the more awareness you have of the decisions that you're making, you're going to start making the right decisions eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's I think not just for this particular issue, but with
Hmm.
everything that we deal with, like start becoming aware. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Where does this come from? Get like very curious, doing it from a place of a lot of curiosity, not necessarily judgment, like you're mentioning. Um, so resources. Um, There is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services, SAMHSA helpline. Uh, Phone number is 1-800 662 HELP. So you can talk to them. There is, obviously, we know about AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Um, that is the program that helped my brother get sober, following the 12 steps. So doing that. Um, finding a therapist, obviously. You can do that by going into therapyforlatinx.com or latinxtherapy.com too. Both of those can help you find a Latino therapist. And you can also go to the website for the National Latinx Psychological Association. They also have resources there. You have Steve and I that we can help out in the way that we can, in any way that we can possibly do it. We are here. If you don't know where to start, um, please reach out to us. We promise, um, we don't mind. I
Mhm.
think we much rather you talk to us than not talk
Yeah,
to anybody. So
I was
just go ahead.
sorry. I was telling somebody recently that reached out to me. I was like, please reach out to me. Like conversations about this and healing and any kind of shit literally fills me with energy. It gives me like purpose in life, and it's like my happy fucking place. So literally, no matter when or what the fuck is about or whatever, like it'll literally get me giddy and happy to fucking
Yes.
talk about this shit. Like I can do this all day.
Yeah.
It's like,
Same
yeah,
same for me. Same for me. So reach out. Reach out. We
yeah,
are we are here for you. Um anyway, what it will be a hard, if you choose to do it, it will be a super hard journey, because essentially what we're asking you to do with, like, hey, you should stop drinking, is like, you should deal with your shit. You should face your demons that you're fighting, or that you're coping with through alcohol. So tap into that. Look at patterns, give yourself compassion, um, and we will be here to
yeah,
celebrate you along the way.
yeah.
um,
Because what I was gonna say is like everybody's so afraid of the judgment. I think that when people don't ask for help or don't reach out for help, but we fucking know. Like we can see past it. Like I want to help the person past the alcohol.
mhm.
I want to show up for the person. I want to know and I care about your pain and your struggles and your suffering and what led you to this and what makes it giving it up so hard and all that stuff because like I said, we've been through this shit.
Mhm.
Maybe not with the alcohol, but in any other stuff. Like we understand already the reason why we have a great relationship, like as friends and with other people close in life, is because I know that at any fucking moment in my life, I can call you and know that you're not gonna judge me.
100%.
Like that literally is the main reason why, right? Because
Mhm.
I know you're not gonna you're gonna understand or you're gonna be able to be give give me at that moment what I need, and just literally it just besides any of that extra shit, I know that you're not gonna judge anything that I do. That's
Yes.
it. That's it. That's it. So
Yes.
understand that, and yes, it's very hard because people have judged you all your life. They have talked shit to you. They have done all this. They don't understand you. You have no idea where to begin, but do it. If it's
Yeah.
hard, it's probably worth it.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It will be worth it. Um, it will be worth it. The healing journey is worth it. Take it from two people that have come from hardship, struggle, and we still decided to heal, do things differently, and just the way that we show up in the world is better. So um, yeah, let's do this together.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have. Oh, look
Yep.
at us on time. Whoa.
With 30 seconds in there on
Ooh,
the
ooh.
clock. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Mindful podcast living at gmail.com. If you have any questions, any concerns, topics, feedback, whatever it is, if you want to be a guest too, we're going to try to have more guests coming up. And yeah,
Yes.
remember, you got to let go in order to grow, and we'll be here for you. See you
Yes.
guys later.
Love you.
Peace.
Bye.